Now, children are a blessing, but not everyone wants a child, okay? Not everyone wants to be a parent, not everyone wants to be a mother or a father, and we respect that, okay? And sometimes you don't want to have a child right now, okay? You want to plan ahead. You want to do your career first. You want to get a job fast. You want to be financially stable. You want to have a good partner before you have a child. And we are also going into the holiday season. You know, when it's December, December is when you go out to buy bread and then you come back to the house 4 days later, okay? That's just the mood we're getting into. So imagine all your friends are going to buy bread and then they end up in Naivasha. And then here you are telling us, oh, I'm pregnant, guys. I wish I could come. You know, we don't want to have such situations. And that's why the topic of today on Wellness Wednesday is contraception. So before starting a family, you need to figure out, are you going to be on contraception or are you going to have 10 children, okay? The commandment of fill the earth was not given to you and Nick Cannon alone, okay? Please, consider the population is at 8 billion now. We need to control it, but I digress. What we're talking about is having some autonomy over your life, having some control over your life, over your sexual life, and how things have to pan out. And some of the things you need to consider when you're getting into contraception is, number one, how effective is it? Okay? Because if you're going for effective, you want to go for a long-term plan. You want to go for something that suits you, something that's available for you, something that will stop the pregnancy. Admittedly, you cannot really stop pregnancy, okay? It's maybe 99% because we have seen children come out holding an IUD. We have seen a child with a mark of an IUD on his forehead, like some, what's the guy, Harry Potter, you know, like he just has a T for IUD instead of, you know, we have seen all these stories. So no method is like 100% proof, but the 99% is something. Even germs, even when you're cleaning your hands, it tells you it's 99.9% effective. So how effective is the method that you're going to choose? Is what you're going to consider.
Absolutely. I feel like these conversations are especially harder when you are in committed relationships because unfortunately or fortunately, that's when you realize, the tire is about to hit the tarmac and you're not sure that this is how you want to leave a streak behind, you know? So basically, I think the most important thing is to have an open conversation with someone. Because there are so many options, just as Turi is mentioning, there's so many options available, not just to women, but to men alike. We've seen vasectomies have become a very, very important part of the conversation when it comes to contraceptives as well. So it's one of those options that is available to you as a couple, especially if you are going for the long haul. There's nothing to lose. You don't want children, they don't want children, just, you know, tie your whatevers. And unfortunately, I don't think that option is available here, but you have the reversible one as well. There's a reversible vasectomy, so you don't have to fully commit to completely chopping off the tubes. And in addition, you also have the option of IVF. If at the end of the day you still want to have children, it's as easy as getting a syringe in, your boys are taken out and they're put in your girlfriend, wife, or whatever, and you can have children. I mean, it's very grim an image to paint, but there are multiple options that are available to you if you do decide to pursue any one of the options.
If there were children watching, it is not as painful as it sounds,
it's
okay?
It's not.
Please.
It's not.
And for men who are thinking of getting a vasectomy, but they had Kathomi talking, please.
It's a quick process. You're in, you're out. Basically, it's an outpatient procedure.
Yeah.
Basically, you're in, a few hours, you're out.
And another thing to consider when you're having contraceptives is the side effects. are you able to tolerate the side effects that some of these contraceptives might have, especially hormonal contraceptives? Because we have seen some people experience weight loss. Good for them, I envy you. Some people experience weight gain and it becomes a problem, and becomes, even for weight loss, it also becomes very problematic, especially when you're losing, you just look like a shell of yourself. That's also problematic. Some people have experienced blood clots, and it's also, very risky when you're using hormonal contraceptives. Some people have experienced mood swings and depression and all of this. And this is why sometimes we're just like, please have a vasectomy. Like, please, just have this vasectomy. We can reverse the effects later. So are you ready to bear the risks and the side effects of all these things?
Now, another very important thing to consider is personality and lifestyle. Can it affect these things? And absolutely yes. And I will give you a case study again. Today, it seems I'm bearing myself in front of everyone. So, when I decided to eat the seed, and and it was one of those panics, like immediately my brain went, I am about to be pregnant. And I just panicked. Do you know what Kathomi did? Did not even tell her partner at the time. I literally ran out to the nearest chemist and got the 3-month shot. Now, I'm not saying this was my lifestyle, but let me tell you, it really affected me as a person. One, my drive was completely gone. Like, I did not have it at all. And then for whatever reason, Lady Jane refused to come out and play forever. Like, I was constantly bone dry. And that is not an experience that you want to have in your life. And unfortunately, these effects did not wear off even after the medication was gone. It took a couple of months, maybe another. I think it took me a whole year just to get rid of those effects or side effects. So think about it as a person and your lifestyle. Are you planning on having enjoyable partnerships, for example? If you are, guess what? If you go for a medication, or if you go for an option of contraception that ends up affecting your body in such a way, you think it's going to be fun? Absolutely not. And at the end of the day, imagine, as Turi has just mentioned here, about your hormones, right? You used to be this bubbly person, always chatting, always. And then suddenly, now look at you. Your mood is always at the ground. Like, you never want to talk to anyone. You never want to be out at the party. You just want to be quiet and on your own. It's like your whole body went on D&D. Now imagine that affecting your personality. You are a TV host. How are you going to entertain people when you are constantly here mad at everyone?
You're just mad.
You're just mad. You don't care. It's like, yeah, whatever. So imagine all of those things and consider them as you are trying to plan for your contraception.
And I have people in my ear who are asking me to also bare my soul unto you people. And the only story I have for you guys is the fact that I got off contraceptives and I was happier. Like, I was just happy. I was not shouting anymore. I was not angry. I was not moody. And that's just the thing. We're not saying it works like this for everyone.
No, for some people it works perfectly.
For some people it works perfectly good for you. But for some of us, it's the ghetto. And also,
No, and another thing is, I think this one is important to mention. It's never, as Turi is saying here, it doesn't work for everyone. And so does it mean when we say the particular one. Not if she's going on the coil and she tells you how the coil is doing amazing things for her, and then I decide to take the coil and then it goes horribly for me. Guess what? She's not a doctor. She's not my hormones. She's not my body. How her body reacted and how my body reacts are completely different things based on so many things, you know? So don't start having these copy-paste contraceptions. Don't do it.
And another factor to consider is, are you in a monogamous relationship?
Yes.
Because sometimes when you're putting into perspective having a contraceptive method, one, it's to stop having a baby. Another thing, it's you don't want to have STDs or something. But when you're in a monogamous relationship, and now the story of using maybe the contraceptive like condoms comes into question. But now I'm in a monogamous relationship.
Like, it's the only person I'm with.
It's just the two of us.
Yeah.
So that means if something fishy happens, it's you, okay? Because it's not me. If something wrong happens, we're gonna. But at the same time, you have to be in a place of trust. This is what you're saying. Are you in a monogamous relationship? So much so you're going to stop using a contraceptive that, you know, prevents you from having STDs, and just focus on a contraceptive that's all about pregnancy. That's just the things you need to be thinking about. You need to be very trustful of human beings. How can you trust men in 2022?
It's deep coat. It's deep coat. But yeah, additionally, with regard to that monogamy or polygamy or polyamory, whatever your relationship or whatever how open your relationship is, always remember one thing. If you're in a monogamous relationship and things have gone stale for a bit, you don't have to be on any contraceptive. So just remember, based on how your frequency is with regard to your sexual activity is when and how you prescribe to it. If you're not doing anything, why are you forcing your body to take up things that it doesn't want? Do you know what I mean?
Also, you know, sometimes accidents happen and then they happen like 3 times in a row. That's all I'm saying. That's why you need to plan ahead. Okay,
Yeah?
it's planned parenthood.
Okay.
Because sometimes you could say, I'm in a relationship with this person. We've been together for so long. We're basically roommates. And then there's just that 1 week where you do things like 3 times in a week, and you're like, wow, that's intense. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But now you hadn't planned for that. You're over here, you know, trying to take like emergency pills like 3 times
which are bad for
consecutively,
you.
which is also not a good idea for you. It's only for emergency. It's a handbrake. I don't know how to explain this to you. So those are the things you should also be considering.
Yes, and most importantly, your health conditions. Now, imagine if you've had funny scares, like you've had horrible, what do you call this, endometriosis, for example, or you've unfortunately had some cervical issues, or you have blood issues, or you are, for example, being told by your doctors that you need to stay off of this and this and this because you are now obese. Like, health conditions also do affect how and what contraceptives you choose. That is why it is important, as I said, don't copy paste. Speak to a professional. Tell them, let them see your history. Let them measure out what they need to measure out in order to prescribe something that works for you. And let me add this. You don't have to go to one doctor. You don't have to go to one gynecologist or obstetrician. There are multiple, that's why it's called a consultation. You consult with this one. If it seems to you like they're not understanding where you're coming from, next one. If it seems that they're also not understanding where you're coming from, next and next, until you find someone who seems to understand where you're coming from, what your needs are, and they help you prescribe something that works for you. It's like insurance. You don't just go to the first insurance company and just take up the insurance that they tell you. No, consult, verify, do your own research, have as many tests as possible to prevent things like that. Because, for example, you've had what? You have issues with your blood, and then now you take something that gives you blood clots. Guess what? A whole new problem has now emerged in your life. Let's just say it sounds scary, but it's really not if you consult the right people.
And last but not least, affordability. Can you afford it? Please go for something you can afford, okay? Don't start using a very expensive contraceptive and then halfway through you cannot afford it and you stop taking contraceptives altogether and then you get pregnant and then you blame Sirikali. Okay, we're not here for that, okay? It is the year of the Lord 2022, okay? Go for something affordable. And there are even measures where you have free contraceptive methods, like free, they're given at government hospitals. You could get your IUD for free, you could get anything for free. So go out and seek those methods.